The scanner display flickered. Dr. Yoon Park stared at the holographic image of Earth. To the alien research team, the planet looked like a nightmare. Violent weather patterns, extreme temperature changes, massive geological activity, dangerous predators, toxic environments. Most species would have classified it as uninhabitable. But something lived there. Something impossible. The Galactic Confederation's deep space research vessel hung in orbit, its sensors probing the blue-green planet below. Computers were working overtime, trying to understand how any life could survive in such conditions. "This makes no sense," muttered Kai Chen, the ship's lead researcher. Earth defied every known rule of planetary habitability. Massive storms covered entire continents. Volcanic regions bubbled with intense heat. Freezing polar regions could kill most known life forms in minutes. Massive predators roamed land and sea. The atmosphere itself seemed designed to destroy anything trying to live, and yet life thrived. The first scans showed something unexpected. Not just simple life forms, a complex civilization. Humans had not just survived on this death trap of a planet. They had built cities, created technology, explored their own world and beyond. "Look at their evolutionary path," Kai said, pulling up more detailed scans. Every aspect of human biology was a miracle of survival. Their bodies could survive extreme temperatures. Their immune systems could fight off countless threats. Their brains were adaptable in ways no other known species could match. The research team was confused. Most galactic species came from calm, stable environments, planets with perfect conditions, predictable climates, limited challenges. Humans had evolved in a constant state of war with their own planet. Every day was a fight for survival. More data came in. Human technological development was chaotic, unpredictable. Where other species developed technology slowly and carefully, humans invented things out of necessity. When something broke, they didn't wait for a perfect solution. They fixed it immediately. Their entire civilization is based on solving impossible problems, Yoon said. The scanners continued to probe. Earth's oceans were filled with massive predators. Its lands had creatures that could kill with a single bite. Its weather could destroy entire cities. Its geological activity could reshape continents in moments. And humans lived there, thrived there. The research team began to realize something important. This wasn't just another planetary survey. This was something completely different. Kai checked the classification systems. Earth was rated as a Class 10 death world, the highest possible rating. Most species would have been extinct within hours of arriving on such a planet. Humans called it home. More data streamed in. Human history was a constant story of survival, fighting diseases, overcoming natural disasters, dealing with their own violent nature. Where other species would have given up, humans adapted. They didn't just survive. They conquered. The research vessel's computers continued to analyze, but they were struggling to understand. How could a species develop in such impossible conditions? How could they not just survive, but build complex civilizations? The answer was simple. Humans were different. They weren't just a species. They were survivors. As the alien research team continued their observations, they had no idea what was coming. Humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The Deathworlders were waiting. The Krell were not known for being smart. They were known for being bullies, a species that had spent thousands of years pushing smaller civilizations around, taking resources, claiming territories, doing whatever they wanted. Their first message to Earth was simple, arrogant. Surrender your planet. Prepare for occupation. The message was sent on all communication channels, broadcast across human systems, a typical Krell move, designed to intimidate, to show how powerful they were. They had no idea what was coming. Captain Jae Kim read the message. Her team on the Deep Space Research Station looked at her. No one panicked. No one seemed worried. "They're serious," said Hyun Park, the mission's second in command. Jay's smile was not a happy one. They're about to learn something important. The Krell had studied human technology. They had reviewed Earth's defense systems. They believed humans were primitive, weak, an easy target for their expansionist plans. They understood nothing. Their invasion fleet was impressive. Hundreds of ships, advanced weapons, technology that had conquered dozens of peaceful civilizations, shields that could block most known weapons, energy systems that could destroy entire planets. They approached Earth with complete confidence. Humans watched and waited. The Krell communication systems were filled with messages of victory, speeches about how they would easily take over this new planet, how humans would become their slaves, how Earth's resources would fuel their empire. They didn't understand one simple thing. Humans were not like other species. On Earth, military bases came to full alert, but not in the way the Krell expected. No panic, no fear, just cold, calculated preparation. Hyun reviewed the incoming data. "They have no idea," he said quietly. The first Krell ships entered Earth's orbit. Their sensors scanned the planet, looking for weak points, searching for the best invasion routes. They found nothing but problems. Earth's atmosphere was their first challenge. Humans had designed their defense systems to work in the most impossible conditions: extreme temperatures, massive electromagnetic interference, conditions that would destroy most technological systems. The Krell didn't know that humans practiced fighting in worse conditions during training. Their first attack wave approached, precise, calculated, designed to overwhelm any normal planetary defense. They were about to learn that humans were not normal. Defense systems came online, but not in any way the Krell expected. Humans didn't just defend, they prepared to fight back. Every city was a potential battlefield, every piece of infrastructure a potential weapon. Humans had spent centuries learning how to survive in the most impossible conditions. An invasion was just another problem to solve. The Krell fleet commander watched his screens. Everything should have been going perfectly. Their invasion plan was flawless, mathematically calculated to succeed. Humans were about to show him what flawless really meant. The first wave of attacks began. Laser weapons that could destroy most planetary shields. Advanced boarding tactics that had worked on 100 different worlds. The humans were waiting, and they were ready. The galaxy was about to learn something important. You don't mess with a species born on a death world. The first battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. The Krell invasion force expected a long, complex conflict. They had conquered dozens of worlds. Each invasion followed a perfect plan. Precise attacks, calculated movements, total victory. Humans had a different approach. Captain Jae Kim watched the battle unfold from the Earth Defense Command Center. Around her, military personnel moved with a calm that would have scared the Krell if they had understood it. This wasn't just a defense, it was a lesson. The Krell's advanced energy weapons hit Earth's defensive systems. Their computers calculated perfect attack patterns. Shields that should have fallen instantly remained strong. But something else was happening. Humans weren't just defending. They were learning. Every single Krell attack provided information. Every weapon strike was analyzed, studied, understood. "They're using our own attack against us," Hyun Park said, watching the battle displays. The Krell fleet commander couldn't believe what was happening. His perfect invasion plan was falling apart. Humans didn't fight like any species he had ever encountered. They fought like survival was the only option. Earth's defense systems were nothing like the Krell expected. Some were advanced technology. Some were surprisingly simple. A satellite communications array became a weapon. An old radio tower transformed into a jamming device. Humans used everything. The first wave of Krell ships began to fall. Not because of superior firepower, but because humans understood something important. In a fight, everything can be a weapon. Hyun tracked the battle data. "They're adapting faster than the Krell can think," he reported. Jay nodded. This was what humans did best: solve problems in real time. The Krell had studied human technology. They thought they understood everything about Earth's defenses. They were wrong. Humans had evolved on a planet that tried to kill them every single day. Their entire civilization was built on solving impossible problems. An invasion was just another challenge. More Krell ships fell. Their advanced shields became useless. Their perfect attack formations broke apart. Humans didn't fight with mathematical precision. They fought with pure survival instinct. Military bases around the world came alive, not with panic, but with cold, calculated preparation. Every citizen was ready. Every resource could be a weapon. The Krell didn't understand one simple thing. On Earth, everyone was a potential defender. 17 minutes after the invasion began, the first wave was destroyed. The Krell fleet commander stared in disbelief. This was impossible. No species could defeat their invasion force so quickly, so completely. Humans were about to teach them a lesson. You don't mess with a species that sees every challenge as a chance to survive. As the last Krell ships fell, something became clear. This was more than just a battle. This was a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were not going to be pushed around. The second wave of Krell ships approached Earth differently, more carefully, more prepared. They had learned from their first massive defeat, or at least they thought they had learned. They were wrong. Hyun Park watched the incoming fleet on the massive holographic display. His fingers moved across multiple communication systems. Around him, the Earth Defense Command Center hummed with a quiet energy that would have scared any alien observer. This wasn't panic. This was preparation. The Krell had studied human history. They had analyzed every piece of information about Earth. They believed they understood humanity's weaknesses. They knew about human conflicts, internal struggles, political divisions. They understood nothing. Captain Jae Kim stood beside Hyun. Her eyes never left the display. Where other military leaders might have shown tension, she showed something else. Calm, calculation, preparation. The Krell fleet approached in a complex formation, mathematically perfect, designed to overcome their previous defeat. Advanced shields, improved weapon systems. They had spent weeks redesigning their entire approach. Humans had been preparing something special. Incoming transmission. Lisa Chen called from the communication station. Her voice was steady. No fear, just pure focus. The Krell message was long, complicated, filled with demands, threats of total destruction, promises of what would happen if humans didn't surrender. Jay's response was simple. No. The first line of defense wasn't what the Krell expected. It wasn't advanced weapons. It wasn't massive military installations. It was people. Every citizen was prepared. Every community was ready. Humans had spent centuries learning how to survive in impossible conditions. An alien invasion was just another challenge. Farmers became defenders. Teachers became communication specialists. Students became emergency support teams. The Krell didn't understand one simple thing about humanity. On Earth, everyone fights. Advanced defense systems came online, but not in any way the Krell predicted. Satellite networks transformed into weapon systems. Old communication towers became jamming devices. Even basic infrastructure became a potential weapon. Hyun watched the incoming data. They have no idea, he said quietly. The first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Their sensors scanned for weak points, searching for vulnerabilities, looking for an easy way to attack. They found nothing but problems. Massive electromagnetic storms appeared. Not natural. Created. Humans had turned their own planet's complex environment into a weapon. Communication systems became a battlefield, not just with weapons, with information, with psychology. Humans didn't just defend. They fought back in ways the Krell could never understand. Old computer systems became complex hacking tools. Radio frequencies turned into communication jammers. Even the planet's weather seemed to fight against the invasion. The Krell fleet commander watched his screens in growing panic. Nothing was going according to plan. Humans didn't fight like any species in the galaxy. They fought like every moment was a chance to survive, like defeat was not an option. Because on a death world, defeat means extinction. As the battle continued, one thing became clear. The Krell had made a massive mistake. They had picked a fight with a species that saw every challenge as an opportunity. Humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson. You don't mess with a species born on a planet that tries to kill you every single day. The repair bay looked like a disaster zone. Broken equipment covered every surface. Alien technology mixed with human parts. Where other species would have seen junk, humans saw opportunity. Hyun Park stood in the middle of the chaos. His hands moved quickly, connecting, modifying, transforming. The Krell had advanced technology. Perfect weapons, shields that should have been impossible to break. Humans were about to show them what impossible really meant. A damaged Krell communication array lay on the workbench. Most species would have called it destroyed. Hyun saw a potential weapon. "We're going to make something work," he muttered. Captain Jae Kim watched from the doorway. Her eyes tracked every movement, every connection. Humans didn't just repair technology. They reimagined it. The first modification was simple, but it would change everything. Hyun took the broken Krell communication array and connected it to an old human computer system. The parts didn't match. They shouldn't work together. But humans had a saying. Shouldn't is just a challenge. More equipment filled the repair bay. Alien weapons. Damaged human technology. Parts from different systems that no sane engineer would try to combine. To humans, these were just tools waiting to be used. The device began to take shape. It looked like a mess of wires and broken parts, but Hyun knew exactly what he was doing. Outside, the war continued. Alien fleets moved in perfect formations. Their technology looked like works of art. Precise. Calculated. Inside the repair bay, something different was happening. "Ready for a test?" Hyun asked. Jay nodded. The device powered up. It shouldn't have worked. By every known law of physics and engineering, it was impossible. But humans didn't believe in impossible. A soft hum filled the room. The combined equipment began to do something unexpected. Something the Krell technological systems would never predict. Alien shields that had been unbreakable suddenly became vulnerable. Communication systems that were perfectly designed began to fail. Humans didn't need the most advanced technology. They just needed to be creative. More modifications came. An alien weapon system became a communication jammer. A damaged satellite transformed into a complex tracking device. Every piece of technology became something new. The Krell had spent centuries developing perfect technological systems. Humans had spent centuries learning how to survive with whatever they had. "We're going to change the game," Hyun said. The device continued to work, breaking every single rule of engineering, doing things that should have been impossible. Jay watched the modifications. This was human technology in its purest form. Not about having the most advanced equipment, but about using what you had in the most creative way possible. More repair bays across Earth were doing the same thing. Every military base, every research center, transforming alien technology into human weapons. The Krell had no idea what was coming. Humans saw technology differently, not as a fixed thing, but as a tool to be changed, adapted, transformed. As the day progressed, one thing became clear. The galaxy was about to learn something important. Humanity didn't need the most advanced technology. They just needed imagination. The message arrived without warning. Every Krell communication channel suddenly filled with sound. Not weapons, not threats. Something far more dangerous. Earth music, old rock songs, classic hip-hop, snippets of human history. Stories that made no sense to alien ears, but carried something deeper. A sense of defiance. Captain Jae Kim watched the Krell communication systems collapse. Her team had just launched their most powerful weapon. And it wasn't a bomb. Hyun Park looked confused. We're playing music. Jay's smile was sharp. We're doing much more than that. The broadcasts weren't random. Each song, each story, each message was carefully chosen, designed to do something the Krell would never expect. Break their spirit. Alongside the music came something else. Images of human history, moments of survival, times when humans faced impossible challenges and won. A group of workers saving their community after a natural disaster, astronauts surviving in space with limited resources, people climbing mountains with broken legs. These weren't just stories. They were psychological weapons. The Krell fleet began to change. Their perfect formations started to break. Their mathematically calculated strategies began to fall apart. How do you fight an enemy that seems to have no fear? More messages came. Some were funny. Some were serious. Some made no sense at all. That was the point. The human approach was to keep the enemy constantly off balance. They're using information as a weapon, one Krell commander said. Another responded, but it's not just information. It's something else. It was hope, the most dangerous weapon of all. The human messages showed something important. Survival wasn't about having the best technology. It was about having the strongest spirit. Images of human cities rebuilt after disasters, stories of people helping each other, moments of pure human resilience. The Krell communication systems began to break down, not because of a technical attack, but because they couldn't process the sheer unpredictability of human communication. Hyun collected the data. The psychological impact was remarkable. The Krell fleet was losing cohesion, not from weapons, but from something more powerful. Understanding that they might actually lose. Every broadcast was a weapon. Every story was a strategy. The Krell commanders didn't know how to respond. Their communication protocols were designed for precise mathematical exchanges. Humans were sending something completely different. Emotion, chaos, pure human spirit. They're breaking our communication systems, one Krell officer reported. No, the commander responded. They're breaking our understanding of conflict. More messages came. Some inspired. Some made the aliens laugh. Some were completely random. That was the point. Humans were showing the galaxy something important. War wasn't just about weapons. It was about spirit, about survival, about never giving up. The Krell fleet was about to learn something important. Humanity didn't just fight with technology. They fought with something much more powerful. Hope, and the ability to make their enemies question everything they thought they knew. The final battle was nothing like anyone expected. Captain Jae Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Command Center. Around her, the crew moved with a calm that seemed impossible given the circumstances. They were outnumbered, outgunned, facing the entire Krell invasion force. And they weren't afraid. Hyun Park checked the global defense systems. Nothing was working perfectly. Half their equipment was patched together, repaired, improvised. But that didn't matter. Humans had learned to fight with nothing. The Krell fleet approached. Thousands of ships, perfect formations, advanced technology that should have destroyed humanity instantly. Should have. They're not going to understand this, Jay said quietly. Hyun nodded. That's the point. The battle began differently from any conflict in galactic history. Where the Krell expected precise attacks, humans moved like a living organism, twisting, turning, breaking every single rule of space combat. Their approach wasn't about winning a battle. It was about surviving. The first wave of Krell attacks missed completely, not because the humans were lucky, but because they were unpredictable. Energy weapons that should have been 100% accurate suddenly looked stupid. The human defense network didn't just dodge. It made the attacks look ridiculous. Communication channels filled with human responses, not threats, not military commands. Stories, music, moments of human history that showed something important. The spirit of survival. Krell commanders watched in complete confusion. Their perfect battle plans were falling apart. The humans weren't fighting like an enemy. They were fighting like survivors. Every piece of broken equipment became a weapon. Every limitation became an opportunity. The human defense wasn't the most advanced system, but it was the most adaptable. The battle wasn't about technology. It was about spirit. Hours passed. The Krell fleet's perfect formations began to break. Their mathematical calculations became useless. Humans fought with something no technology could match. Pure human determination. More resources joined the human defense. Not just military equipment. Every citizen became part of the defense. Schools, factories, communication networks, everything became a potential weapon. The battle became more than a military conflict. It became a statement, a moment that would change the galaxy forever. Humanity hadn't just defended. They had shown what true survival looked like. As the final moments approached, something unexpected happened. The Krell fleet began to retreat, not because they were defeated militarily, but because they finally understood something important. Winning wasn't about having the best technology. It was about having the strongest spirit. Captain Jai Kim watched the retreating fleet. Hyun stood beside her. "We're not done," she said. Hyun smiled. "We're just getting started." The galaxy had learned something important. Humanity didn't just bring a new way of fighting. They brought a new way of thinking. Survive. Adapt. Never give up. The invasion was over, but something much bigger was just beginning. The real revolution had just started. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The news spread faster than any invasion could travel. Across hundreds of star systems, communication networks buzzed with the same message. Humanity had not just defended itself. They had completely changed the understanding of conflict. The Galactic Council emergency meeting was nothing like anyone expected. Representatives from 100 different species gathered. Some looked terrified. Some looked excited. Everyone understood something important had happened. Humanity had entered the galactic stage, and nothing would be the same again. Dr. Yoon Park sat in the observation room. She watched the holographic displays showing the council meeting. Her team from Earth's Research Command tracked every single detail. The first speaker was a representative from the Orion Confederation. His blue-scaled skin shifted colors with his emotions. "Humans are unpredictable," he said. "Dangerous." Another representative responded quickly. "They're also the first species to successfully defend against a full Krell invasion." The recordings of the human defense played on massive screens. Not perfect military maneuvers. Not advanced technology. Something much more important. Pure survival instinct. One by one, species began to speak. Some saw humans as a threat. Others saw an opportunity. But everyone was watching. Smaller species that had been pushed around by the Krell for centuries suddenly looked interested. If humans could stand up to the galaxy's most aggressive species, maybe they could too. They broke every known rule of conflict, one council member said. Another responded, "Exactly." And that's why they won. The human defense wasn't about having the best weapons. It was about using what you had in the most creative way possible. Every limitation became an opportunity. Every challenge became a chance to survive. Hyun Park's analysis of the conflict began to circulate. Not a military report, but a study of human problem-solving. How they approached challenges. How they turned impossible situations into opportunities. More species began to request information about human history, about how they had survived on a planet that tried to kill them every single day. The Krell were silent. Their first major invasion had been completely destroyed, not by superior technology, but by something they didn't understand. Human spirit. Military academies across the galaxy began to change. Young officers from different species started studying human defense techniques. The old ways of thinking about conflict were falling apart. "They don't fight like soldiers," one young cadet said. An older instructor responded, "No, they'd fight like survivors." Political leaders who had once ignored humanity now wanted to understand them. How did a species from a Class 10 death world become so adaptable, so resilient? The answer was simple. Survival was not a choice for humans. It was a way of life. As the Galactic Council meeting continued, one thing became clear. Humanity had changed everything. Not with the most advanced technology, not with the largest fleet, but with something much more powerful. The ability to turn any challenge into an opportunity. The ability to survive. The galaxy was about to enter a new era, and humanity was leading the way. 5 years had passed since the Krell invasion. The galaxy looked different now. What was once a collection of carefully controlled star systems was now something entirely new. Hyun Park stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Diplomatic Station. Below him, researchers and diplomats from 100 different species worked together in ways no one would have imagined possible just a few years ago. Humanity had changed everything. It wasn't just about defending against an invasion. It was about something deeper. A completely different way of thinking about challenges, survival, and cooperation. Dr. Hyun Park, now a leading galactic researcher, often spoke about the transformation. Humans didn't just defend themselves, she would say. They showed the galaxy a new way of solving problems. The implications went far beyond military conflict. Other fields began to adopt similar approaches. Engineering teams started thinking more like human problem solvers. Research centers became more dynamic, more willing to take calculated risks. Captain Jae Kim continued her work, mostly ignored by the media that had once celebrated her. She was already focusing on the next big challenge. To her, each problem was just another puzzle to be solved. The political landscape had shifted dramatically. Species that were once distant and careful had begun to collaborate more closely. The human approach wasn't just about defense. It was about survival. Universities across the galaxy began teaching courses about human problem-solving techniques. Students learned about adaptability, quick thinking, and the power of turning limitations into opportunities. Challenges are just opportunities waiting to be discovered became a popular motto. Diplomatic databases showed remarkable changes. Conflicts that were once considered unsolvable were now being approached differently. The survival rates of smaller species had increased. The number of diplomatic resolutions had gone up. But the real change was deeper than numbers. The galaxy had learned something important. Innovation doesn't come from following rules. It comes from being willing to see beyond those rules. Humans had shown that the most advanced solutions often come from the most unexpected places. Political leaders who had once been skeptical now sought out human advisors. They wanted to understand how humans approached problems, how they saw possibilities where others saw only obstacles. Jad rarely gave interviews, but when she did, she always said the same thing. "It's not about being stronger," she would explain. "It's about being willing to try." Hyun knew the real story. Humans had developed their approach in some of the harshest environments imaginable. On Earth, survival was never guaranteed. Every challenge was a fight. Every problem was something to be solved, not studied. The galactic community had become something new, more dynamic, more adaptable, more alive. As the day ended, Hyun looked out at the research station. Researchers from different species worked together, sharing ideas, breaking old rules, creating new possibilities. The Krell invasion had become a turning point, not just in military history, but in how the galaxy understood cooperation, survival, and innovation. Sometimes, the most powerful force in the universe is simply the willingness to face impossible challenges. And humanity had shown the galaxy exactly what that looked like. The Deathworlders had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again.